Most people see the price tag and stop reading. The people who kept reading and then actually moved here tell a very different story. Singapore might be one of the safest and cleanest places on earth, but could you actually afford to retire there? For many foreigners, Singapore feels almost futuristic. Perfectly clean streets, ultra-modern skyline, world-class transportation, incredible safety, and one of the strongest economies in the world. It looks efficient, comfortable, organized, almost flawless. But here's what many people don't realize. Living in Singapore long-term is very different from visiting for a week. Because behind the luxury image, there's another reality. Extremely high housing costs, strict rules, fast-paced pressure, and a lifestyle that can feel amazing for some people and emotionally exhausting for others. So what is it really like to live and retire in Singapore as a foreigner? And by the end of this video, you'll know whether Singapore is truly one of the best places in the world to live or simply one of the most impressive places to visit. The advantages. Safety. Singapore consistently ranks in the top 3 countries in the world on the Global Peace Index. Its homicide rate is approximately 0.2 per 100,000, making it one of the safest places on the planet by this specific measure. For comparison, the United States sits at 6.3. Singapore is 30 times safer by this metric. But the data does not capture the experience, so let me describe the experience. In Singapore, women walk home alone at midnight without a second thought. Expensive electronics are left on café tables while their owners order at the counter and are still there when they return. Mobile phones are placed face up on restaurant tables during meals. Elderly residents use public transport alone at any hour of the day or night without anxiety. The streets are not just safe, they feel safe in a way that is immediately and viscerally apparent to anyone arriving from a major Western city. Singapore has low crime rates and a stable political environment, and it is known for a meticulously clean environment with ample green spaces. Healthcare. And Singapore's healthcare system is, by the objective measures that international health organizations use, one of the best in the world. Singapore offers excellent healthcare for retirees, with both public and private options and world-class facilities and skilled professionals. The World Health Organization has consistently ranked Singapore among the top 6 healthcare systems globally. Singapore has more medical specialists per capita than almost any country in the region, meaning that whatever specific medical need a retiree might have, cardiac care, oncology, orthopedics, neurology, the specialist required is available in Singapore, often with waiting times dramatically shorter than equivalent care in the United States or United Kingdom. English language and cultural accessibility. And English is not just an official language in Singapore. It is the primary medium of instruction, commerce, law, and daily life. From the hawker stall where you order your morning coffee, to the hospital where you discuss your health with a specialist, from the government office where you process your visa paperwork, to the neighborhood community center where you attend a yoga class, everything happens in English. There is no language adjustment curve in Singapore for English-speaking foreigners. You arrive and you can immediately, fully, completely function. Low taxation. And this one is brief but significant, because Singapore's taxation regime is one of the most favorable for high-income residents of any major developed city in the world. Singapore has one of the lowest personal income taxation rates in the world. The taxation rates are progressive, with the highest rate being 22% starting from 320,000 Singaporean dollars. If you make $150,000 a year, your taxes will be $12,450, an effective tax rate of just 8.3%.
The honest challenges. The cost of living.
Now, the section that most Singapore promotional content buries in footnotes, and I am going to put at the center of this conversation, because the cost of living in Singapore is the single most important factor in whether this city works for you as a retirement destination, and it deserves complete, specific, unfiltered treatment. Singapore is consistently ranked among the most expensive cities in the world, and retirees need to budget carefully. Housing is the biggest expense, especially for foreigners who cannot buy subsidized HDB flats. A one-bedroom condominium in a central Singapore location, Orchard Road, River Valley, Tanjong Pagar, runs 3,000 to 5,000 Singapore dollars monthly, approximately 2,200 to 3,700 US dollars. A two-bedroom in a central location, 4,500 to 7,000 Singapore dollars monthly. In suburban areas, Jurong, Tampines, Woodlands, the prices are meaningfully lower. Two-bedroom condominiums at 2,500 to 4,000 Singapore dollars. But suburban Singapore, while well-served by public transport, is not the Singapore that most expats describe when they describe the city's quality of life advantages. The small size and density. And this one is simple but real. Singapore is a city-state of approximately 728 square kilometers, with a population of approximately 5.8 million people. It is one of the most densely populated countries on Earth, and the physical reality of living in a small, dense city-state has implications for daily life that deserve honest description. There are no quiet country roads 20 minutes from the city. There is no feeling of vast space or the kind of geographic breathing room that many people find essential to their sense of well-being. Singapore is and will always be an urban environment, a beautifully designed, extraordinarily well-managed urban environment, but urban, fundamentally and completely. Strict laws and social formality. Singapore has a number of strict laws and regulations that its inhabitants must follow. Some of these are well known internationally: the prohibition on chewing gum, the significant fines for littering, for jaywalking, for smoking in non-designated areas, for not flushing a public toilet. These are often cited with a mixture of amusement and mild criticism in Western coverage of Singapore, but they are real. The fines are real. They are enforced, and they are part of the social compact that produces the cleanliness and order that most expats value deeply about daily life in Singapore. The social culture in Singapore is, by Western standards, relatively formal. The warmth is real. Singaporeans are genuinely friendly and genuinely helpful to foreign residents who engage respectfully. But the social spontaneity, the immediate intimacy, the willingness to transgress social norms that characterizes socializing in Latin American or Filipino cultures is less present here. Relationships in Singapore tend to develop more slowly and through more structured social channels. The final matching guide. Let me now give you the clearest possible summary of who Singapore works for and who it does not. Singapore works for you if your retirement financial profile is genuinely strong, if a monthly household budget of 5,000 US dollars or more is sustainable without significant financial strain, if healthcare quality and physical safety are your primary retirement concerns, because Singapore delivers both at a level that is virtually unmatched in Asia, if you are English-speaking and derive genuine pleasure from the convenience and accessibility of an English-speaking cosmopolitan city. Singapore probably does not work for you if your retirement budget is primarily Social Security income or a modest pension that does not comfortably sustain $4,000 or more in expenditure. If you require a formal, accessible long-term visa with low income requirements, Malaysia, Panama, Portugal, or Costa Rica offer this. Singapore does not. If you require vast physical space or a rural lifestyle as part of your well-being, or if the legal and social framework of Singapore, the strict laws, the limited political discourse, the formal social culture, creates an environment that feels constraining rather than reassuring. Singapore is not for everyone. Nothing this good and this expensive ever is. But for the person who fits the profile, and many people watching this video do fit it, it is, in my honest assessment, one of the extraordinary places in the world to be alive and healthy and curious in the last chapter of a life well lived.